The massive Imperial scout ship emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system, its dark hull reflecting the distant sunlight. Captain Robert Parker of the International Space Station was the first to spot the unusual readings on his sensors. At first, he thought it was a malfunction. "Control, are you seeing what I'm seeing?" His voice remained steady despite the gravity of the situation. Within hours, the world's major powers scrambled their best military and scientific minds to a secret facility beneath the Rocky Mountains. Admiral James Anderson stood before the gathered leaders, his weathered face illuminated by the large display screens showing the approaching vessels. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are no longer alone," he announced, his deep voice echoing through the chamber. "The vessels are unlike anything we've ever seen. Their technology is far beyond our current capabilities." As the room erupted in concerned murmurs, a young scientist named Mark Lewis rushed in, clutching a tablet. "Sir, they're broadcasting on all frequencies." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a tall, humanoid figure with pale gray skin and elaborate ceremonial armor. Lord Grey, as he would soon introduce himself, spoke in perfect English. "People of Earth, I come as a representative of the Galactic Empire. Your world has reached a level of development that warrants our attention. You have two choices: join our empire as a protectorate state, or face immediate conquest. You have 24 hours to decide." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the room in stunned silence. General Lisa Thompson, commander of Earth's combined military forces, was the first to speak. "We've been monitoring their ships. Their weapons could level our major cities in minutes." But Admiral Anderson noticed something in the data scrolling across his screen. The Imperial ships had positioned themselves in a standard attack formation, one he recognized from Earth's own military history. Despite their advanced technology, their tactics seemed surprisingly familiar. "They think we're primitive," he said, a slight smile playing across his face. "They don't know about Project Guardian." The room grew quiet. Project Guardian had been humanity's best-kept secret for the past decade. A collaborative effort between Earth's leading nations to develop advanced defensive technologies. Hidden bases on Mars and beneath Earth's oceans housed weapons that even most world leaders didn't know existed. "We've been preparing for this possibility since the Roswell incident," Anderson continued. "Those weren't crashes. They were gifts. Gifts that showed us what was out there and helped us prepare." Dr. Lewis pulled up classified files on the main screen. "The Empire's ships use a standardized shield frequency. We've had 70 years to study similar technology. We know its weaknesses." As the hours ticked by, Earth's leaders debated their options. The Empire's ultimatum was clear, but humanity had never been good at accepting terms of surrender. Admiral Anderson's plan was risky, but it offered something no other proposal did: a chance to show the Empire that Earth wouldn't be an easy conquest. "We don't need to win a war," Anderson explained. "We just need to show them that the cost of fighting us would be too high." The vote was unanimous. Earth would not surrender. As the deadline approached, Admiral Anderson drafted Earth's response. The message was brief but clear. "The Earth respectfully declines your offer. Before you make your next decision, we wish to provide a demonstration." Lord Grey's response was immediate and dismissive. "Your primitive weapons cannot harm our ships. This defiance will only make your defeat more painful." Anderson looked around the room at the determined faces of Earth's leaders. They had spent decades preparing for this moment, building defenses in secret, studying the technology left behind by previous visitors. The Empire thought they were dealing with a primitive species that would bow down before superior technology. They were about to learn how wrong they were. "Send the coordinates for the demonstration," Anderson ordered. "Let's show them what humanity is capable of." As the orders went out, hidden facilities around the world hummed to life. Beneath the oceans, in orbital platforms, and in secret bases across the globe, weapons of unimaginable power waited to be unveiled. The Empire had made a crucial mistake. They had given humanity time to prepare their response. The first battle for Earth's independence was about to begin, and it would start with a warning shot that would shake the foundations of the Galactic Empire. The Imperial fleet hung in space like a cluster of metal stars, their massive ships dwarfing Earth's visible satellites. On their command bridge, Lord Grey watched Earth with growing impatience. He had expected immediate surrender, not this puzzling defiance. In the underground command center, Admiral Anderson and Dr. Lewis worked quickly to implement their plan. The weapon they had chosen for their demonstration was called the Quantum Disruptor, a device that could destabilize matter at the subatomic level. It had never been tested at full power. "Target coordinates locked," reported Dr. Lewis, his fingers dancing across the control panel. "We're aiming at their uninhabited mining moon in the asteroid belt, far enough to show our reach, close enough for them to watch." Anderson nodded. "And you're certain their shields can't stop it?" "Their shield technology is based on deflecting energy and physical impacts. This weapon doesn't work that way. It changes the rules of physics itself." The weapon itself was surprisingly small, a satellite barely larger than a car. As it emerged from its hidden bay on Mars, the Imperial sensors didn't even register it as a threat. To them, it looked like space debris. Lord Grey noticed the object on his screens. Another primitive satellite. Their defiance grows tiresome. The satellite aligned itself with its target, a small moon the Empire had been using as a mining base. It was uninhabited but filled with valuable equipment and resources. "Quantum field stable," Dr. Lewis announced. "Ready to fire." Anderson took a deep breath. This would either save Earth or start a war they couldn't win. "Fire." For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the moon began to glow. Not from the outside, but from within. Its surface rippled like water. And then, in a display that defied conventional physics, the entire moon simply unraveled. Layer by layer, the moon's matter separated into its basic components. Rock became dust, dust became atoms, and atoms split apart in a cascade of light that illuminated the solar system. Within minutes, where a moon had been, there was nothing but a cloud of subatomic particles. The Imperial fleet's sensors went crazy. Lord Grey's face paled as he watched the impossible happen. What did they do? Earth's response came immediately. That was a small-scale demonstration. "We have larger versions of this weapon aimed at strategic points in space. Would you like to see what they can do to a ship?" In the command center, Anderson watched the Imperial ship's formations. They had broken their neat attack patterns and were now moving into defensive positions. "Sir," called out one of the operators, "we're detecting power fluctuations in their shields. They're trying to modify them to block our weapon." Dr. Lewis smiled. "They can't. You can't shield against something that changes the fundamental forces holding matter together." The Imperial fleet's response came after several tense minutes. Lord Grey's voice had lost its condescending tone. "Your demonstration is noted. Perhaps we should discuss terms." "We only have one term," Anderson replied. "Earth remains free and independent. In return, we don't share this technology with other worlds under your control." The threat was clear. If the Empire pushed, Earth wouldn't just fight back. They would arm every rebellious world in the galaxy with weapons that could tear apart Imperial ships. Lord Grey's next words were careful, measured. "The Empire needs time to consider this development." "You have 1 hour," Anderson replied. "After that, we demonstrate what these weapons can do to a ship's engines." "Clear." As the transmission ended, cheers erupted in the command center. They had done it. Humanity had stood up to the greatest power in the galaxy and made them blink first. But Anderson remained serious. "Don't celebrate yet. This was the easy part. Now we have to convince them we're more valuable as allies than enemies." Dr. Lewis looked at the dispersing particle cloud that had once been a moon. "After that display, I think they'll listen carefully to whatever we have to say." The next hour would determine Earth's future in the galaxy. But for the first time since the Imperial ships arrived, Humanity had the upper hand. The hour of waiting ticked by with excruciating slowness. In Earth's command center, Admiral Anderson watched as the Imperial fleet maintained their new defensive position. Their ships clustered together like a school of fish sensing a predator. "Message incoming," announced the communications officer. Text only. The words appeared on the main screen. "The Empire requests a direct meeting. One representative. Neutral ground. Mars orbit." Anderson turned to the assembled world leaders. "This is it. Our chance to establish our position clearly." The decision was made quickly. Anderson would go, accompanied by Dr. Lewis. The meeting would take place on a small station that had been hidden on Mars' far side. Another secret humanity had kept from prying eyes. As their ship approached the meeting point, they saw a single Imperial shuttle detach from the main fleet. Lord Grey had come alone, just as requested. The station's meeting room was sparse. A single table, 3 chairs, and viewing windows that showed the red Martian landscape below. Lord Grey entered first, his ceremonial armor now replaced with simpler diplomatic attire. "You've hidden much from us," he said without preamble, his voice carrying a mix of anger and respect. Anderson smiled. "We learned long ago to keep our advantages hidden. Your empire isn't the first to visit Earth." This caught Lord Grey's attention. "Explain." Dr. Lewis activated a holographic display, showing various spacecraft designs. "We've been studying alien technology since before your empire existed. Every crashed ship, every failed invasion. We learned from them all. We reversed engineered what we could, improved what we understood." "Impossible," Lord Grey whispered, but his voice lacked conviction. "The quantum disruptor," Anderson continued. "That's just one of our developments. We have weapons that can target specific genetic sequences, viruses that can disable AI systems, and defenses that make your shields look primitive." Lord Grey's composure cracked slightly. "If you have such power, why hide it? Why not join the galactic community?" "Because we saw how your empire treats its subjects," Dr. Lewis replied. "We watched your ships subjugate other worlds. We intercepted your communications, studied your tactics. We decided we'd rather be prepared than conquered." Anderson leaned forward. "Here's what's going to happen. Earth will remain independent. We'll establish trade relations with your empire, but on equal terms. Any aggressive action against Earth will result in the release of our weapons specifications to every world under Imperial control. You would start a galaxy-wide revolution." Lord Grey's voice was barely a whisper. "We would ensure our survival," Anderson corrected. "The choice is yours. One independent planet that's willing to trade and cooperate, or an empire torn apart by its own subjected worlds." The room fell silent. Outside, the Martian dust storms swirled across the red plains, a reminder of the harsh realities of space. Finally, Lord Grey spoke. "The Empire has existed for 10,000 years. We've never encountered a species like yours. Humanity is unique," Dr. Lewis said. "We prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. We build weapons we pray we'll never use, and we value our freedom above all else." Lord Grey stood, his decision made. "I will convey your terms to the Imperial Council, but know this, you've changed the balance of power in the galaxy today. There will be consequences." "There already are," Anderson replied. "The consequence is that Earth will take its place among the stars as an equal, not a subject. That's non-negotiable." As Lord Grey left the station, Dr. Lewis turned to Anderson. "Do you think they'll accept?" Anderson watched the Imperial shuttle return to its fleet. "They don't have a choice. We've shown them the stick. Now we need to show them the carrot. Earth has more to offer than just weapons." The message had been delivered. Earth wouldn't bow, wouldn't surrender, and wouldn't be conquered. But they would extend a hand in friendship, if the Empire was wise enough to take it. As their ship headed back to Earth, both men knew that the real work was just beginning. They had won Earth's freedom. Now they had to prove they deserved it. The Imperial Council's emergency session was unlike anything in recent memory. The massive circular chamber, usually a model of order and decorum, had descended into chaos. Lord Grey's report on Earth's capabilities had shaken the Empire's confidence to its core. Commander White, the Empire's most decorated military leader, slammed his fist on the council table. This is unacceptable. One primitive world cannot dictate terms to the Empire. A primitive world that just turned one of our moons into cosmic dust. Another counselor reminded him. Perhaps caution is warranted. In Earth's command center, Admiral Anderson and his team monitored the Imperial fleet's movements through their hidden sensor network. Something had changed in the fleet's formation. "Sir," called out the sensor operator, "multiple ships are powering up their weapon systems." Dr. Lewis rushed to his console. "They're positioning for an attack. Looks like Commander White won the argument." Anderson's face hardened. "Activate Defense Protocol Omega. Let's show them what else we've been hiding." Across Earth's solar system, hundreds of seemingly innocent satellites and space debris suddenly came to life. What the Empire had dismissed as space junk revealed themselves as a network of advanced defense platforms. Commander White's voice boomed across all frequencies. "This is your final warning. Submit to Imperial rule or face annihilation." Anderson's response was calm. "Look above you, Commander." The Imperial fleet's sensors detected movement from Earth's moon. The surface rippled, and massive hangar doors opened, revealing rows of sleek warships that had been hidden beneath the lunar surface for decades. "Those aren't our only ships," Anderson continued. "Check your long-range sensors." Similar doors opened on Mars, revealing more hidden fleets. From the asteroid belt, ships emerged from hollowed-out rocks. Earth's preparations hadn't just been about weapons. They had built an entire war machine in secret. Commander White's voice wavered slightly. "Your fleet is still no match for Imperial technology." "Perhaps," Anderson agreed. "But we don't need to match you. We just need to ensure mutual destruction. Your sensors confirm we have quantum disruptors aimed at every ship in your fleet. Even if you destroy Earth, none of your ships will survive to report victory." The Imperial fleet's attack formation faltered. Some ships began to pull back, their commanders unwilling to risk destruction. "This is rebellion," Commander White shouted. "This is survival," Anderson corrected. "You came to our home, threatened our people, and expected us to submit. We're showing you why that was a mistake." On the Imperial flagship, Commander White faced a mutiny. His officers refused to attack, seeing the futility of the situation. The Empire had never faced an opponent who could guarantee mutual destruction. "Sir," Dr. Lewis reported, "their weapons are powering down. They're retreating to a safe distance." Anderson nodded. "Send them the trade proposal now, while they're still processing what they've seen." The proposal was simple. Earth would share some of its non-military technology, medical advancements, terraforming techniques, sustainable energy systems. In return, the Empire would recognize Earth's independence and establish diplomatic relations. Commander White was removed from command, his aggressive stance now seen as a liability. The Imperial Council, facing the first real challenge to their power in millennia, began to seriously consider Earth's offer. "They're sending a response," the communications officer announced. The message was brief. "The Empire acknowledges Earth's right to independence. We agree to diplomatic negotiations." A cheer went up in the command center, but Anderson raised his hand for silence. "This isn't over. They'll be watching us, looking for weaknesses, waiting for us to let our guard down." Dr. Lewis smiled. "Then we'll just have to keep surprising them." The Imperial fleet began to withdraw, leaving behind only diplomatic vessels. Earth had won its freedom not through a devastating war, but through preparation, strategy, and the willingness to show strength. As the massive ships disappeared into hyperspace, Anderson looked at the lunar fleet returning to its hidden base. "Welcome to the galactic stage, humanity. Let's hope we're ready for what comes next." The Imperial diplomats sat stunned in Earth's new Galactic Relations Center, a facility that had seemingly appeared overnight in the Swiss Alps. What truly shocked them wasn't the building's sudden appearance, but what they were witnessing on the massive display screens. This, Dr. Lewis explained, pointing to a holographic projection, is our gravity manipulation technology. Watch carefully. In the test chamber below, a small device activated. A solid metal cube, weighing several tons, floated effortlessly into the air. Then, defying all known physics, it began to fold in on itself like paper. "Impossible," breathed the lead Imperial scientist, Professor Reed. "Mass cannot be manipulated this way." Anderson smiled. "That's just the beginning. Dr. Lewis, show them Project Phoenix." The next demonstration took place in an orbital facility. The diplomats watched as Earth scientists deliberately damaged a spacecraft, tearing huge holes in its hull. Then, seemingly on its own, the ship began to repair itself, the metal flowing like liquid before solidifying again. "Self-repairing materials," Dr. Lewis explained, "based on principles we discovered in deep-sea organisms. Every ship in our fleet has this capability." But it was the third demonstration that truly shattered the Empire's understanding of human capabilities. In a sealed chamber, scientists activated a device no larger than a coffee cup. The air around it began to shimmer, and suddenly, the chamber appeared to exist in two places at once. "Localized space-time manipulation," Anderson explained to the astonished diplomats. "We can create temporary bridges between any 2 points in space. Distance becomes meaningless." Professor Reed stood up, his face pale. "These technologies, they violate fundamental laws of physics." "No," Dr. Lewis corrected gently. "They violate what you thought were the laws of physics. Humanity has always excelled at finding exceptions to rules." The demonstrations continued throughout the day. Earth revealed weather control systems that could terraform planets in months rather than centuries. They showed energy generation methods that made imperial power systems look primitive in comparison. "Why show us all this?" asked one of the imperial diplomats. "You've already proven your military capability." Anderson's response was measured. "Because we want you to understand something crucial. We could have used these technologies to build an empire of our own. Instead, we chose to defend our independence and offer cooperation. In orbit, more hidden facilities were revealing themselves. Space stations that had been cloaked for decades emerged from invisibility. Shipyards larger than cities appeared from within asteroids. Earth has never been defenseless," Dr. Lewis continued. "We've been preparing, growing, developing. Not for conquest, but for the moment we would join the galactic community." The lead diplomat, who had been quiet until now, finally spoke. "The Empire has existed for 10,000 years because we maintained technological superiority. You've destroyed that advantage in a single day." "No," Anderson corrected. "We've given you an opportunity. Work with us as equals, and together we can advance faster than either of us could alone." On the screens, another demonstration began. This time, it was medical technology. They watched as seemingly fatal injuries were healed in minutes, as diseases were cured with simple treatments, as the aging process itself was slowed to a crawl. "This is our real strength," Dr. Lewis said softly. "Not our weapons or defenses, but our ability to improve life itself. This is what we offer in partnership." The imperial diplomats huddled together, speaking in hushed tones. When they turned back, their demeanor had changed completely. "The Empire," the lead diplomat announced, "would be honored to establish full diplomatic relations with Earth." Anderson nodded. "Then let's begin discussing how we can help each other. But remember, we'll maintain our defenses. Trust is earned, not given." As the meeting concluded, Dr. Lewis turned to Anderson. "Do you think they understand yet?" Anderson watched the diplomats leaving, their worldview fundamentally altered. "They're beginning to. Humanity isn't just another species to be conquered. We're something they've never encountered before, an equal they never saw coming." The demonstration was complete. Earth had shown not just its teeth, but its heart. The galaxy would never be the same. The Grand Conference Hall of the Galactic Assembly buzzed with tension. Representatives from every major imperial world had gathered to witness something unprecedented: formal negotiations with a world that had successfully defied imperial conquest. Anderson and Dr. Lewis sat at one end of the massive table, facing the Imperial High Council. The stakes couldn't be higher. This meeting would determine humanity's place in the galactic community. "Let us be clear," began the Imperial Chancellor. "Your world has demonstrated remarkable capabilities. But with power comes responsibility. How can we trust Earth won't become a threat to galactic stability?" Anderson activated a holographic display, showing Earth's proposed treaty terms. "We understand your concerns. That's why we're proposing a mutual defense pact. Any aggression against Earth or the Empire would be met with a united response." The council members exchanged glances. This was unexpected. Earth wasn't just demanding independence, they were offering alliance. Dr. Lewis stepped forward. "Furthermore, we propose establishing joint research facilities. Imagine combining Earth's innovation with imperial resources. We could solve problems that have plagued our civilizations for millennia." A murmur ran through the assembly. The Empire had always hoarded technological advances, using them to maintain control. This new approach was revolutionary. "And what guarantees do we have?" asked Lord Grey, now serving as a senior counselor. "That Earth won't share its weapons technology with rebel worlds." Anderson's response was firm. "The same guarantee you have that we won't use them against you. Mutual interest. We're not looking to destabilize the galaxy. We want to improve it." The holographic display shifted to show medical breakthroughs, environmental restoration projects, and faster-than-light travel innovations. Earth was offering solutions to problems the Empire had struggled with for centuries. "Your Empire has maintained peace through power," Dr. Lewis explained. "We propose maintaining it through progress instead. Help worlds advance, and they won't want to rebel." The Chancellor leaned forward. "You speak of changing systems that have existed for millennia. Why should we trust your way is better?" Anderson stood, his voice carrying across the hall. "Because your way led you to try conquering Earth. And look where that got us. We're offering you a chance to evolve, to become something greater than an empire maintained by fear." The council chamber erupted in debate. Some members argued passionately for accepting Earth's proposal, while others warned of the dangers of change. The discussion lasted hours. Finally, the Chancellor raised his hand for silence. "We have concerns about one aspect of your proposal. You suggest opening imperial technology to all member worlds. This could destabilize existing power structures." "Power structures already destabilize themselves," Dr. Lewis countered. "We're offering you a controlled transformation instead of eventual collapse." Anderson added, "Think of it this way. You can have an empire of subjects constantly looking for ways to break free, or an alliance of partners working together for mutual benefit." The council withdrew for private deliberation. Anderson and Dr. Lewis waited, knowing that centuries of imperial tradition were weighing against their proposals. When the council returned, the Chancellor's expression had changed. "We accept your core proposals, with conditions. The transition must be gradual, and Earth must commit to helping maintain galactic stability." "Agreed," Anderson replied without hesitation. "We'll start with joint scientific projects and cultural exchange programs. Show everyone that cooperation brings better results than conquest." As the formal treaty was drawn up, Dr. Lewis turned to Anderson. "They're still afraid of us." "Good," Anderson replied quietly. "A little fear will keep them honest while they learn to trust. But it's not fear that will change the galaxy. It's hope." The treaty signing was broadcast across the Empire. For the first time in its history, the Empire had not just accepted an independent world, they had embraced it as an equal partner. As Anderson and Dr. Lewis prepared to return to Earth, the Chancellor approached them privately. "You realize you've changed everything." Anderson smiled. That was the point. Welcome to a new era. The galaxy was about to experience something it had never seen before: a partnership between Earth's innovation and the Empire's stability. The age of conquest was ending. The age of collaboration was about to begin. 5 years after the historic treaty signing, Earth had transformed into a bustling hub of galactic activity. Ships from across the Empire filled the orbital lanes, while alien tourists and diplomats wandered the streets of major cities, marveling at humanity's unique blend of old and new. Admiral Anderson, now serving as Earth's first galactic ambassador, stood at the window of his office in the new Geneva spaceport. Below him, a group of Imperial scientists worked alongside human researchers, studying Earth's latest breakthrough in renewable energy technology. "Progress report, Dr. Lewis," Anderson asked as his old friend entered the office. "Better than expected," Lewis replied, bringing up a holographic display. "The joint terraforming project on Mars is 2 years ahead of schedule. Imperial efficiency combined with human innovation is proving to be an unbeatable combination." The red planet was rapidly transforming. Green patches were spreading across its surface, while massive cities grew beneath transparent domes. It was becoming humanity's first true colony world. "And the defense network?" Anderson asked, ever mindful of security. "Fully integrated with Imperial early warning systems. Any threat to Earth or our allies would face both human and Imperial response, though I doubt anyone's foolish enough to try." The reputation of Earth's defensive capabilities had grown into something approaching legend. The few pirate groups that had tested those defenses had quickly regretted it. A soft chime announced an incoming transmission. The Imperial Chancellor's hologram appeared in the center of the room. "Ambassador Anderson, the results from the first wave of technological integration are extraordinary. Worlds that were once resource-poor are becoming self-sufficient. Disease rates across the Empire have dropped by 60%. Anderson nodded. "And the political situation?" "Stabilizing. When people see their lives improving, their desire for rebellion fades. Your approach, it was wiser than we initially understood." This was what Anderson had hoped for. Proof that cooperation could achieve what conquest never could. Earth's influence was spreading, not through force, but through innovation and shared progress. Dr. Lewis pulled up another display, showing the new Galactic Academy being built in orbit around Jupiter. "The first class of mixed human and Imperial students begins next month. We're literally building the future together." Outside, a massive Imperial cruise ship descended toward the spaceport, its hull gleaming in the sunlight. 5 years ago, such a sight would have caused panic. Now, it was routine. "There are still challenges," the Chancellor noted. "Some old guard nobles resist change. They miss the absolute authority they once held." "Change is never easy," Anderson replied. "But look at the results. Trade is up, conflicts are down, and innovation is accelerating. Even the resistant ones can't argue with success." The meeting was interrupted by an urgent alert. A new signal had been detected at the edge of known space, signs of another advanced civilization making first contact with the Empire. "Perfect timing," Anderson said. "A chance to show how our new approach handles first contact situations." The Chancellor agreed. "We'll send a joint delegation. Show them what humanity and the Empire can accomplish together." As the Chancellor's hologram faded, Dr. Lewis turned to Anderson. "Did you ever imagine, when they first arrived, that this is how it would turn out?" Anderson watched as a group of human and Imperial children played in the park below, their differences forgotten in the simple joy of games. "No," he admitted. "We prepared for war, but achieved something better. We showed the galaxy that there's strength in cooperation, power in sharing knowledge, and wisdom in choosing peace over conquest." A small ship lifted off from the spaceport, carrying the latest batch of human innovations to distant worlds. Its crew was mixed, human and Imperial working together as equals. "The galaxy's changing," Dr. Lewis observed, "and we helped change it." Anderson smiled. "We did more than that. We proved that humanity's greatest strength isn't our weapons or our technology. It's our ability to imagine a better way and make it reality. As the sun set over New Geneva, ships of all designs filled the sky, their lights creating new constellations. Earth had found its place among the stars, not as a conquered world or even a mere equal, but as a catalyst for positive change throughout the galaxy. The Empire had set its sights on Earth, expecting to find another world to conquer. Instead, they found partners who would help them build a better future for all.